Hi, so today we're gonna create a basic extension in Postgres. So let me start by talking about what I have here. So on my left side I have the source code of Postgres 13th branch currently, and on my right side I have opened some useful links here. We're gonna be looking here and when we need. And here I have created an empty directory called student extension. We're gonna be writing our code here, and first off let's start by looking at the GitHub repo by Dimitri about the base 36 extension. So I'm gonna start by looking at the make file. So okay. There are some flags here, and it's calling some binary here. I'm gonna look at the SQL real quick. Okay, some functions are here. A type is being defined here. Okay, some other functions and some casting. Okay, so they are calling function in C file. Okay, some header files are included and some checks are being done. Okay, so I have already gone through the documentation here, and you can read it up. I can provide all these links in the description of this video. So I know, like when we gonna write something in C using C languages, there are certain things that we need to do. For example, we're gonna need to include this header file always in our code. So let me start by including this. Sorry. Okay, what else do we need? So in the source code he's doing some checks here. So where are these? Oops. And, so in this file there are like some variables already defined here. So this will tell us which version of Postgres current we have. Okay, we're gonna need to include this header file as well. What else? Okay, we can do this as okay. So here it says that we need to have this as well in order to get the right server. So let me define my type here real quick. So I'm thinking of having a name maximum of 24 characters, an age and a float. Great. Maybe that's it. So these are the functions that we need. At minimum we need these two, the input and output functions. So I'm gonna just rename them. Okay, so I'm gonna create two helper function as well. Student, okay, maybe. Okay, I think we are done here. Let's create a C file. Okay. So in the Postgres we need to have this function as well. Why we need this? Because of the calling conventions. There are like two calling conventions, version 1 and version 2, and if you don't specify this, it's gonna call the old one. So I think we're gonna need this as well for calling our function, and we're gonna pass this macro the function name we have. Okay, so in Postgres, whenever you are getting an input and output thing, the input and output are the functions. They're gonna interact with Postgres and the user. Also think of this as when you are insert something, this function will be called, and when you select something or gets data from the table, this function will be called. So when you call this function, when you have these arguments, it's actually giving us the pointer to a specific location, and we can use some helper functions in Postgres, and these will actually get us the values. So for example, here imagine we have a string coming here, and we are just taking the string. Since we have only one input, so we're gonna I'm gonna pass the 0, like it starts from 0th index, 0 1 2 3 and so on. So we have this, and I need to call this function, like to string to student. We want to have our student here, and we're gonna return the student here, right? So how to do it? We can before starting, I was thinking about, let's implement this function. So in this function we're gonna have the input. For example, let's let's say how we're gonna pass the input to our like I wanna do something like this: insert, for example, into whatever demo. Okay, value something like xyz. Something like this, maybe like a name, their age, for example, and the grade, for example. Like I'm gonna pass these as strings, and I want it to store internally as this data type that I have defined. So let's create some, maybe a temporary here. Okay, I'm gonna have this. I'm looking for a string first, then a comma, then some number, a whole number, then a float. Yes. And if you look something, just save it into this temp. Save the first thing here, save the second thing here, and save the third thing here. And if you don't see it, this function will return how many items it see. For example, if it doesn't see 3 items, I need to have some kind of error here, like parsing error. And if it succeed, I'm gonna return a pointer to this location, right? Yes, so return some kind of pointer here. Okay, so let's start by checking how we can deal with the errors here. So here we have many type of error handling in Postgres, so I'm gonna use this one. Let's copy this. Okay, let's look if Dimitri has some kind of error handling. Oh yeah, he has some of this. Let me copy this one instead. Some error. Okay, range after bond. Okay, what's this thing? Okay, utils and error codes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ben de eğer siz dolcissimo anche mi posso sentire? Grazie, dolcissimo anche mi posso sentire?
Okay, this looks alright to me. Value. Let's go in type student. Okay. So now I have the string. I need to return the value. I can use the same trick that I have used before. So now, if you don't understand what these two functions are doing, it doesn't matter. It's just this function is just converting this thing into a structure of type student, where it will have the name equals to this one, age equal to this one, and the grade equal to this one. And this function is actually doing the opposite. It will have the structure and it's converting into this form. Okay, you can add your logic here. You can add whatever you want here. So The details are not important what's going on. If you are interested, you can just search through the keywords or the search through the function what's they are doing. Okay, and so I'm gonna implement this input function right now. So mm, I have the string as an input to this function, and I need to return a pointer to the this one, right? So I can just say return pointer to the string, right? This will return me a pointer, but this is not a good way to return like in the convention using in Postgres. So I'm gonna use a helper here. It's called pg return pointer, and this is the pointer that I want to return. Okay, so I need to do similar thing over here, so but in reverse. Now imagine when I'm gonna output to the user, I'm gonna have the input as a student, so I need to get the pointer of a student. So I should be having something like pg get our pointer, and this should be a student, and I can return a C string. Yeah, I forgot I need to cast it into this, and also I need to call this function. Like I have a student, I need to convert it into a character. Okay, I think that's about it for now. Let's write some SQL here. 1.0.sql. So let me see what he did. I'm gonna copy it to this line. This is alright for me. The output is doing fine. I don't have the receive and send yet. I'm gonna create an output, and I only have this many. Sorry, these two functions, input and output functions. If you are wondering what I'm doing here, you can refer to here this documentation create type. We basically have different ways of creating a type in Postgres. So like you can create composite types, enum types, range types, and base types. Currently we are creating a base type. So in order to create a base type, you need to have two basic functions, and input functions and output functions, and they are required. The others are optional, but they serve some specific purposes. You can read about each one of them if you want. Also, this is the syntax we're gonna follow, and since we are creating our own type, so we're gonna need to tell the Postgres how much memory does he want to allocate in for our type. So I'm gonna need to do it. And this memory should be in bytes, so let's calculate. So for example, storing a name character array of length 24, each char, like one char equals 1 byte, right? So 24 char will consume 24 bytes. The int is actually bits, which means 4 bytes, and float is also 32 bits, so I need 4 bytes here as well. So in total I'm gonna need 34 plus 4 and 4, and there should be like 32. Okay, 32 bytes. What else do I need? I think we are okay with it. Oh yeah. Okay. So far so good. Anyway, let's see what else do we need. Okay, we need a control file as well, so I'm gonna copy this. So here, when creating an extension, you need to specify a control file as well. I'm gonna explain it later on as well, like what are they useful for and what they are when they are needed. So right now, if you're wondering why we have this comment, etc., and these things here written over here, you can go to this link here. It's about creating an extension file, and it's about the control file that we are writing right now. It also specifies some naming patterns that what you need, and it also tells like, well, these are some kind of things that you can tell to the query of sorry the to the Postgres server when it's gonna load your extension. So I think I'm good so far. Oh, okay, I got to create a make file. So again, I'm gonna refer to this make file. Okay, so I don't have this, and think I don't have these as well. I'm gonna press the student. Okay, so let's make it. So pgconfig command not found. This pgconfig, this binary that we are using, it's not being found. So where is it? When you install the Postgres, it should be installed in this location, if you are using, if you have installed it using the guidelines from the source. So pg config should be here. Yes, it's here. So what I'm gonna do is to add this to let me write it. So what I just did here is I just added this file over here, and I have just wrote this line. I just added the path to that binary into my this system path. So it should be now accessed. Like I can just type pg config, it should appear here. Like I can now use this as anyway. Let's make it. Oh, we are getting some errors. Let's look at the errors. Undefined type. Student. Okay. Defined file. Okay, so there are some things in C that you gonna follow. Okay, let's make it again. Okay. I can't do this. Here, line 10. Okay, I don't need to pass this as this. What about no? Okay, these the errors are gone. We can ignore the warnings. We can't do it. So I can just write as make. No. So we want this. Apparently, you have to be a root to create this kind. This is weird for me, but anyway. Yeah, sorry. This is not weird. Why? Because the owner of this directory is root. It was not my user, so it was not able to create it. Anyway, so that you have now that you have created the SO files and the make file, sorry, we have created the object files. Now you can just type make install and it will do some things. For example, it will install, like, create these three folders and then move these files into these folders. For let me see what's going on here. So as you can see, the all the extensions that you have installed are stored in this file, in this location, and we can see that this was the exact same file that we have created. They just copied that file into here, and they copy the source, the object file, the source code, compiled source code into this location. So let's see that as well. So there we have our extension source code, and other than these are the source code, some of the things that Postgres is using. Okay, so I'm gonna log in as Postgres user right now. So do I have it or no? Mm-hmm. Ah, I need to. Do I have? Wait. I need to restart the I have to start the Postgres server. I forgot to do so. It's gonna take some time. So we have a new database called test. Okay, so we are in Postgres now. We don't have any table right now. So first we need to load our extension. So our extension name was student. So this, when you write this line, create extension student, what's going on? At the back end, the Postgres will look at its folder, the same folder that we talk about. Uh, the same folder it created. The same folder. It will look at the folder, the extension folder, where it moves the control file and the SQL file, and it will look if there's some extension named student, and it will then load it, and the SQL code, this part will be executed. These things will be executed right now when this thing is done. So now we can use our extension basically. So I'm gonna just type, like, try to give the value like how we decided in the source code. Okay, so so aha, something weird is going on here. It's not, it's outputting the same thing but something, but it's not the right thing. So let's figure out, something might be wrong here. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. We needed to create two more functions for casting. For example, in here, the Dimitri has created two more functions for casting. So, wait, let me first make some adjustment. If Oh, typo here. So I have rebuilt the extension. Let's go back and reconnect, reload the extension. Okay, let me just drop it first. Okay, so it was about the source code, not some other errors anyway. So now you can see uh, this is what we input into the system, and this is how it's gonna give you back. You can now use it to create your own table if you want. So let me create a new table. Create table demo, and we have an ID, a friend, and a stud with student type. Okay, so right now we don't have anything in the table. Also, let's insert some things. Insert into demo values one id one, and let's say Muhammad, and age is 26, and grade is 5. There's, you see, I have inputted the wrong thing here, and you can see that our error handling function is working fine. The parsing stuff is working fine. Why it's giving us the error? Because this pattern doesn't match. For example, I have not given the starting brackets over here, so let me just copy it into and just change it here. Now it should work fine. Okay, so let's add some more. Maybe so change it to this and change it to maybe, I don't know, 30. So now we can see the table. It has two values. So this is the way, and if you wanna see about the demo table, you can see the demo table has two columns. Column ID has a type of integer, and column stud has a type of student. So this is a simple way of creating a basic type in Postgres. If you have any question, you can ask me directly. So I think that's it for now. Bye bye.